Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the Detroit Lions Fonza. I'm here to talk about the draft. There are a lot of ways the Detroit Lions can draft this upcoming draft, because there are so many needs. But I think all of us can agree this whole season that there was one thing that stood out more than anything, more than the offensive line, more than the defensive line. It's just one thing, week after week. It just seemed like, I don't know if you guys, I think we're all going to agree on this. It seemed like every week that the Lions play, that you see this pretty much every week. Any quarterback that played against the Lions defense, it seemed like every single quarterback seemed to be Pro Bowl quarterbacks. And I think we're all in agreement that a big part of this had to do with the Lions secondary. So I think that's one of the things we need to really look into, is that secondary, because it wasn't really good. So I'm going to have to say that I think the Detroit Lions should draft Eric Murray, the safety, Tennessee. I really think he would be a great fit back there with Louis Delmas. But I'm not saying I wouldn't mind going defensive tackle or offensive line either, because there's just so many choices we can go with. But if you had to pin me down and ask me, I'd have to say we should go for a safety, being Eric Murray, because I really think that kid has some very, very good talent, and I think he'd really do good back there with Louis Delmas. But if we can get our front good and maybe get some pressure, we wouldn't have to rely on our secondary as much. So that's another direction you can look at it. But I found it totally ridiculous how much how quarterbacks would just come in against the Lions D and just do the kind of things they did on our defense. It was ridiculous. But yeah, that's my draft pick. So what do you guys think? How do you think the Lions should draft? And as far as the offseason goes, what do you think we should do in free agency? Because we could, we did pick up a linebacker, but I think we also need another running back to help out Kevin Smith in the backfield. But a big part of that has to do with the offensive line, not giving our runners enough room to run. Lions' offensive line has never been the greatest. I think it's time we need to change that, because if we're going to be successful as a team, the team's not going to get as improved. They have the weapons to be a great offense. We've got Calvin Johnson. We need one more receiver with him. We get a run game going. The Lions, their offense it's going to be one of those offenses. How do you stop this? If we can get an offensive line, get another receiver with Calvin Johnson and a running back. So what do you guys think?